And CEO of the Jewish News Syndicate, Alex Traiman, joins me. He's also a member of the media delegation traveling with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the United States, with first a stop in Hungary. Nice to see you.
Greta, thanks for having me.
First, we've got to talk about the hostages. I never want to lose sight of that. No hostages back, or at least not in the last couple of weeks. Nothing.
No, apparently there are some new deals being presented. Israel's not going to go for the types of deals that Hamas has put forth before, nor are they going to go ahead with that phase one style deal. But if Israel can get back as many living hostages as possible, as quickly as possible, that's certainly number one priority in the war.
And of course, President Trump also spoke about how he had spoken to some hostage family members, some parents, and how how the ones whose relatives aren't living, the children who aren't living, they want their bodies back, and that it's just as very meaningful to them, just as much as a living child being brought back.
Well, you could see in the extended press conference that so much of the time and focus was placed on the hostages by Donald Trump. You could see how moved he was by it. He talked about the fact that some of these hostages were being kept in pipes, not in tunnels, explaining the low quality of the tunnels that they were, barely having air, barely being able to breathe. So, you could see that this weighs very heavily on Trump's mind, and he really wants to do everything he can to get those hostages out as fast as possible.
Prime Minister Netanyahu came to the United States with a 17% tariff by the United States facing him. When do you think he decided to make this deal that he's making with the United States, saying he's going to get rid of the trade barriers and the trade deficit?
Well, just 24 hours even before Trump had announced the tariffs on all countries, Israel had announced that it was going to slash all tariffs on American products. Now, it's not clear if America got that message before they made the announcement, but Netanyahu always trying to demonstrate leadership, and certainly the United States being the #1 export market for Israel, and wanted to show a model for coming to Trump, being conciliatory, and seeing if some kind of deal could be done to avoid the trade deficit between Israel and the United States.
It's very significant, is it not, that Prime Minister Netanyahu, not only is he doing this face-to-face on the tariffs, but this is his second trip to the United States in less than 100 days.
Oh, absolutely. He was the first world leader to visit President Trump when he came into office. Now he's the first to come twice, before even many other leaders have come one time. But I think that it's a demonstration of the support that the United States shows for the state of Israel, how much Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu values the relationship and the friendship with Donald Trump. And again, Netanyahu wanted to demonstrate world leadership with regard to this tariff issue, hoping to present a model that other nations' leaders would follow.
All right, now the big issue, Iran. President Trump, the United States having direct talks with Iran. They've been monsters in the region. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's hard to understand how talks can go differently this time than in the past. Both Netanyahu and Trump have alluded to the fact that if talks could go something along the lines of how nuclear talks went with Libya, where the Americans could come in and basically dismantle the entire Iranian nuclear program peacefully, that would be the preferred option. But here you heard Trump say that if the talks don't go well, that Iran will be in great danger. And you can see by his attacks against the Houthis in Yemen that Trump is not messing around, and that the military threat is a really credible one.
Well, you mentioned Libya and how they dismantled their nuclear program. And I always thought that was not a particularly persuasive argument, especially to someone like Kim Jong-un in North Korea, and also to Iran, because Gaddafi was killed a short time later. I mean, it was not something that was, was successful for him, but perhaps ended, largely contributed to the fact that he was then killed.
Well, I think you have the same situation in Iran today. I mean, liberating the Iranian people from the Islamic Republic, from the Ayatollah Khamenei, should be the #1 goal. I mean, the nuclear weapons are a problem. What's even more dangerous is the people that would have their fingers on the buttons. So it could very well be that even if they do dismantle this nuclear facilities peacefully, that you might see a regime change be the follow-up policy with regard to Iran.
Well, it's sort of interesting to watch what's happened. Is that Israel, of course, after October 7th, has been fighting with Hamas, and it's consistently been fighting throughout the region after these terrorists have been attacking Israel for so long. But they have sort of it's Hamas. They're still trying to get the hostages back. And then it's the Houthis, and it's Hezbollah, all funded by Iran. And now you've got the President of the United States and Prime Minister Netanyahu in the Oval Office basically sending a message to Iran that, this is it. Make a decision. There are going to be talks. And as a president, he covertly said, or the obvious is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he said that it's a situation that neither the United States nor Israel want to take out the Iranian nuclear facilities by force. However, the threat of an Iran with nuclear weapons, seeing what they've done to this point to create this ring of fire around Israel, an attack from Hamas, from Hezbollah, from the Houthis, and others, even before they have a nuclear weapon, it makes the situation of them having a nuclear weapon that much more untenable. It's basically an existential threat to Israel, and they'll do whatever they can in order to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear power.
When you and I first met when I was in Israel about a year and a half ago, I walked through parts of Jerusalem, and I talked to a Palestinian man, and I said, do you have any friends that are Israelis? No. Could you ever have any friends with Israelis? No. I mean, there was not even any social attempt to say, well, maybe, or something like that. I mean, it really, the hatred runs so deep.
It does, and I think even for Israelis, October 7th was a wake-up call. There were a lot of Israelis that thought that peace could be made, that accommodations could come into play. And I think that now, after October 7th, we really see that a process for real peace is not going to be possible. Israel's not going to be able to give away land. President Trump said it in the Oval Office, giving away the Gaza Strip was a huge mistake, and it never should have happened. And I think that the idea that there could be a two-state solution where Israel cedes land in Judea and Samaria, known in the rest of the world as the West Bank, I think that day is coming to an end.
Alex Traiman, thank you very much, and welcome to the United States, although you're a dual citizen. Welcome to the United States anyway. Anyway, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Meanwhile, there is more Israeli news. Israel Defense Force